welcome back to my YouTube. It's your girl Honey. So I'm doing a very different video today, and I wanted to kind of talk a little bit about Neptunians, and this is a video for everyone who has a very strong influence of Neptune on their chart. So a lot of people will probably ask, well, what's the strong influence of Neptune? How does that resonate with me? So Neptune ruled by Pisces. Pisces is home to the 12th house, and the 12th house is the house of the unconscious mind, unconsciousness, escapism, unconscious escapism, unconscious escapism. What do I mean by this? Think of our personal planets, which is our sun, our moon, Venus, Mars, Mercury. When you have Neptune in aspect to those planets, it can be a challenging aspect. A challenging aspect can be a square, an inconjunction, an opposition, sometimes conjunctions. This video will probably be about you. Even if you're a 12th house sun, you've got Neptune in your 10th house, in your 3rd house, Neptune in your 4th house, aspecting your midhaven. Neptune in the 5th house even, that can create an inconjunction to the midhaven. When I do readings for different people, and I've done loads of readings now, you see familiar patterns with the Neptunians, familiar patterns. And one thing that I have definitely seen with Neptunians is a lot of you guys require me to tell you guys what to do. And it's almost like it grinds my gears, because I'm also a Neptunian, honey. I am. But I'm a conscious Neptunian, unconscious of other things in life, who knows? But I'm very conscious of the energy, hence why I'm talking about it. So what I mean by this is, I'll give you an example. This is a really good one. I've used it plenty of times before. I had a client sometime last year, and she had Neptune in her 10th house. The 10th house is the house of our career, public image, authority, government. It's actually our direction. It's the midpoint, midhaven, okay, at the top of our chart, and it's where we pretty much aspire to get to. The sun is exalted there. So what's the sun? The sun is the soul's purpose. So the sun being in that house finds it easier to fulfill its soul's purpose, okay, believe it or not. So she had Neptune in that house, and Neptune, think about Neptune as being a planet that puts a cloud in the house that it's in, okay? And it also clouds any other planet it's in aspect to, or even the point it's in aspect to. So it makes it hard for that planet, that house, and that point to express or to figure out what it's supposed to be doing. Anyway, she asked me to have a look at her career and what possibilities she could be doing. So when I see Neptune in that 10th house, and most people I'm from the Neptune in Capricorn generation. Most people I read are from the same generation as me, and Capricorn in any house always represents where a lot of your karmic debts are going to play out, where a lot of the decision choices you make is going to affect this house. You got to also put a lot of focus on taking the responsibility of this house. Now, I read her chart, and she was like, oh, I absolutely loved it, but why didn't you focus on career? Like, I wanted you to focus on career. Like, what should I do with my life? So I had to reply back. I was like, what? What should you do with your life? I am not a career counselor. That's not my job, honey. I'm here to offer you the guidance. I'm gifting you the tools. I'm not telling you, you must do this and you must do that. And she was actually training to do medicine, which is something quite interesting, because Neptune in the 10th house can have a link towards some sort of healing environment. Healing can be medicine, because you've got to heal people back to health. Healing can be psychology, because you've got to heal people mentally back to health. It can also be tarot card readings, astrology, anything surrounding diving into the unconsciousness, or actually physically healing someone. Always, and it also depends on what's in the 6th house as well, because usually when I see Aries in the 6th, Mars in there is some sort of link towards medicine, okay? But she wanted me to say to her, yes, you need to be doing, you have to be a surgeon, and you've got to work in the joints field and this, and I don't do D9 charts, okay? That's something that you can probably find a lot more on a D9 chart. I just said to her, I said, this is what you're gonna have to be consciously aware of now, is that you have foggy vision in your house of direction. Therefore, you want to be directed in your life. You want to be told, what do I do? Where do I go? Tell me what to do. I'm not going to do that. And you're used to that, because she also mentioned that her dad works in medicine. She comes from a background of people who work in medicine. So she's following on the steps of what her family do. Therefore, they encouraged her to do it, and she did it. Because she asked me, what should I do? Should I do medicine, or should I do belly dancing? I said to her, and by the way, bearing in mind she loves belly dancing, it's her passion. And I said to her, why can't you do both? Why can't you study medicine and get your qualifications? Because you've started it now. You can't stop. I wouldn't even recommend stopping. It's medicine. Come on. And I said, why can't you learn that, but also practice belly dancing as a weekend hobby, and then try and structure a business around that to see if maybe you can teach. Maybe there's ways that you can start making the same money as being as being a doctor. This is something that I see a lot with Neptunians, is that you guys are stuck in a fantasy realm. And I get it, because I'm a 12th house sun, okay? I understand it. My Mercury's in there as well. I get it. But you have to process the logic as well. It's about finding a fair balance, okay? A fair balance. Now, I can do astrology for the rest of my life if I wanted to, but I want to do so much other things as well. So I study psychology. And what you guys have to recognize as Neptunians is that you have to find your own direction and take responsibility for that. Because it's not my fault. It's not down to me to tell you. I offer you the guidance. So I say, yeah, you should be in a position where you're healing, or yeah, you should be in a position where you are working in substance abuse and helping other people to heal. I don't know, anything on someone's chart, I'm going to say and see and say it. But recognize that it's down to you guys to actually do the work after the reading. You can't expect all of your answers to be answered now. Oh yes, I know what I'm doing now because I've got a reading from Honey. That's not how it works. The squares, it's like when I see Neptune squares, and right now Neptune is squaring my ascendant, I think, transit wise. And my ascendant is seen as my identity, my appearance, my persona. It's a big part of me. So a lot of people will look at me and think of me as one thing when I'm really not that thing. Or even myself, I might think of myself as being one thing, but I'm really not that thing. I might have issues with my directional choices, where I see myself in 5 years. And to be fair, where I am right now, career-wise, I see myself. But in the other parts of my life, I'm like, oh, I don't know. It creates the confusion and the fantasy, the unconsciousness. When you have, and think about our Mars, okay? Mars is our motivation, our drive, our reactions. It's what motivates us to get out of bed every day. It's how we are handling work when we're at work. So when you have Neptune creating a square, or in conjunction. What happens here is your Mars lacks the motivation, but it also is unconscious of what it's working towards. Neptune in conjunct your midheaven, the same shit. I don't know how to get to that place. I don't know what to do. Neptune squaring Saturn, in conjunct Saturn. Saturn in conjunct the midheaven even. There is a fear towards taking ownership, taking responsibility of where I see myself in the next 5 years. Taking responsibility of taking or making that authoritative position, fearing that I'm not going to be good enough for it, or I won't place myself in that, I won't apply myself to that particular position because I fear I'm not going to be good at it. And sometimes as well, it makes it harder because you're unconscious of the energy. Does that make sense? You can be unconscious of the energy, period, because it's unconscious Neptune. So people are not always consciously aware of themselves. So when I do my readings and I see strong Neptunian energy, I try my hardest because I have my Mercury in Taurus, so I simplify things like to the T to make sure that you guys understand what I'm saying, because you guys have to get that I'm simplifying it because this is how it is in my brain. And if I can process it in my poor old little Mercury 12th house brain, you guys have to get it. But I know that with my Mercury being in my 12th house, I'm always misunderstood. Always. So you guys have to do a lot of work, and this is internal work, on becoming consciously aware of thyself. And how I got to being more aware of myself, being a Neptunian myself, is by spending time with me, by doing what I want to do. It's all about me, okay? And having the 12th house energy, you spend time by yourself. Neptune energy, you want to, but you also feel guilty in the process. Create a fair and equal balance that allows you to be on your, I've said this so much times, but allows you to be on your own. But also a fair balance that where you're still socializing, you're still out there, you're still inspired by others. But a lot of the work is down to, I keep saying it, a lot of the work is down to you guys. Anyway, that is my video talking about 12th house, Neptune, personal aspects, and I hope that this has created some sort of clarity to understand Neptune a little bit better, because I know Neptune's hard for a lot of people to process and to understand in their own charts. I know it is. Okay. But I want to go now. Please drop your comments below, and I will see you on the next video, people. Take care.